Blog Talk Radio.
Check out the full episode of this on Mentellect Patreon.
In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord, and Amen we trust, as the Republican Mentellect, the real 144,000 is being gathered in this day and time, the Mentalists, the Amen race, the bright race. Good evening, I'm your host, the intellectual Newton Incares, and this is Mentellect Radio, and tonight we're going to be discussing the humans. How humans were civilized through TV, radio, and movies. You know, there's a reason why they refer to, like I said, the individuals in movies, the subjects as characters, right? There's a reason why they do that, why they write characters in movies. Because characters are meant to influence people. If you look at the violence in the society, the violence in America, if you look at it in the society before the advent of television, radio, and movies, you'll see that these programs were basically being used to civilize the American public. How so? Because when people are being entertained by something, when people are having their minds entertained and they are, having their minds captured, they tend to, focus on that entertainment. They start to get into that entertainment as opposed to, trying to find their own entertainment. And usually when these humans try to go out and find their own entertainment, it usually turns up as some kind of criminal mischief, some sort of perversion or something like that, because they bored. Like you could tell with our people, we didn't have TVs, we tended to have, people tend to have more, because there was nothing to do but eat, sleep, and have, things like that. People are going to, succumb to their own devices if there's nothing to. So is what they were given television, radio, and movies for, you see, to entertain. How were humans civilized through TV, radio, and movies? Basically, by characters that were created for them to follow. Because, see, people will tend to liken themselves unto characters that are interesting in television, movies, even in books. You so-called Israel, I'm going to use you guys as an example. You guys talk a lot about Jesus and Abraham and Ishmael and Isaac and all those people because those are characters you like in a book. No different than you guys. You guys are really idol worshipers. Because you're not supposed to be really sitting up here worshiping the image of no man, to be damn if you're a prophet or not. You can respect that person, but you ain't got to worship. You ain't supposed to be worshiping no image of no man who's a so-called prophet. You will respect that person, but you guys worship the image of the prophets because you know different than the person that worships the image of their favorite TV star, Jesus, John, Abraham, whoever y'all Israelites worship. That's just like y'all worshiping characters out of a book, and y'all don't see it that way. But if you don't personally know these people and know the work they did, and you ain't really feeling that work they did or whatever, you just being going out of the book, then you know different than somebody who like a damn Harry Potter. Y'all got the minds of children, man. Why were they civilized this way? Because a lot of your humans at that time, they don't want to admit, a lot of these Caucasians, the first way they tried to, well, let me tell you, the first way they tried to program your humans is through books. But the only problem with that is a lot of these humans were illiterate. A lot of these Caucasians were illiterate. You see, they talking about being illiterate. A lot of them was illiterate. Even when they had the freedom to read, a lot of them went, I'm going to read. All right, so how you going to program people who got to first read this? So you got to create television, radio, things for them to listen to rather than expect them to read. Because they ain't trying to go to no school and read. They don't want to learn nothing. And when we get wanted to learn, that's really made them mad. We don't want to learn what you want to learn for. A lot of slave masters couldn't read. Why are TV and radio shows called programs? Because they meant to program people. Why were they used to program us as well? Because, again, you need people in order to constantly create a class system, in order to create a, victim and victor type thing, or You gotta just like you create the people at the top, you also gotta create an image for the people at the bottom that they can constantly pull on. That's why you can constantly keep getting Biggie in your images, Tupac, because the people behind that control the image of Biggie and Tupac want you to keep looking down to that, looking up to, which is really looking down to that image. You think y'all looking up, but you're really looking down at nothing. Is it still being used? Yeah, it is, of course. They ain't gonna let a good thing like, you know, that basically getting them to do what they do, they ain't letting that go. For the complete broadcast, you're gonna have to go to Mentellect Patreon. Go to Mentellect Patreon for this complete broadcast, because it will not, I guarantee you, it will not be on YouTube. Subscribe to Mentellect Patreon and join the Mesoamerican community.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, and then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capability that we can